Hey guys, welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Ash Paulson and Josh Thomas from the BitBlock to discuss our thoughts on Paper Mario Color Splash. Hey, I actually said that right that time. So, let's get started. Alright guys, so Color Splash was announced last week in Nintendo Direct to, I would say, fanfare, but not really. In fact, no fanfare at all.
The first 5 seconds, a lot of people were pretty excited. Come on.
They definitely were, but Nintendo itself was pretty relaxed about the whole thing. And then after those 5 seconds, it did seem like opinions were, I would say, divided, but it also isn't true. It seemed like almost unanimous hatred. So we already gave our preliminary thoughts after the Direct, which overall was disappointment. But I thought it'd be good to have another discussion. We've had some time now to think about this, to let it set in. I've done our analysis, but also I just thought it'd be good to have you on here as well, Josh. But I know you were a fan of Sticker Star, so I thought it'd be fun to get your perspective on this new game as well. So I guess let's go start off with this. Josh, since we haven't heard from you yet, what do you think, or what was your initial impression, and what do you think about this game now?
So with Color Splash, my initial impression was very excited. It was a new Paper Mario that Nintendo just kind of lazily introduced to us.
Hell yeah, right? New Paper Mario.
And,
seriously.
Yeah. Which is really strange. It's like, would they have done that with like a new 3D Mario or Zelda? Or they're just like, oh yeah, here's another Paper Mario.
It was Bill really just almost said it like a totally offhanded manner. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we were looking in the corners of our office, we found Paper Mario over here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my initial impression was definitely, the first thing I noticed was the visuals are everything I would ever want Paper Mario to look like. Yeah. It looks amazing. Seems like it is the ultimate version of the whole paper aesthetic. I thought the music was really good as well. You can't really hear it perfectly, but you can definitely hear it, and it sounds very high quality. And then, kind of as it went on, I started to realize, there's maybe some problems hidden underneath this very pretty looking game. So my first impression was, oh my god, new Paper Mario coming this year. And then it started I started to think like, oh, well, this might not be the Thousand Year Door Part 2.
Now that's interesting because, yeah, it's not the 1,000 Year Part 2, it looks like, 1,000 Year Door Part 2. But you were a fan of Sticker Star, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So are you still excited on some level for this game then? Or...
Probably more than most. I should clarify this, because, we're going to try to save some dislikes on this video. I like Sticker Star because I went into that not expecting it to be a typical Paper Mario. I wasn't thinking this is the next installment in the series.
Okay, right.
I was thinking this is going to be a handheld version of Paper Mario that is going to play differently, but it will have some of the things that I love from Paper Mario.
Sure.
And so with that mindset, I was pretty satisfied with it.
Okay.
It was not perfect, but I enjoyed the paper stuff, I enjoyed the sticker stuff, and I thought the music was good, visually pretty good. But yeah, it's not perfect, and I would say it's definitely not as good as Thousand Year Door or the N64 game, but I did enjoy it a lot more than Super Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario is kind of my version of Sticker Star. How most people hate Sticker Star,
Yeah.
I really hate Super Paper Mario.
That really is interesting. That does seem to be the counter to how most opinions I've heard are. But how about you, Ash? Where do you weigh in on this in the days since the announcement?
I think I kind of fall somewhere in the middle between the two of you. I mean, I didn't love Sticker Star, but I also didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good in a vacuum. I just think that compared to other Paper Mario titles, it was pretty disappointing.
Or other good games.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up liking Sticker Star in the end. I did finish it. Like you said, Josh, I liked it visually. I liked the music. I liked a lot of the non-battle elements of it. That said, the battle system I thought was pretty disappointing. It definitely ended up being my least favorite Paper Mario game. By a fair margin. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but I did actually like Super Paper Mario more. Which of course, Thousand Year Door and the original are my favorites as well. But so with Color Splash, I don't know. I'm kind of still taking a wait and see approach. After watching your analysis, Andre, I'm definitely sure that it is based on, at least partially on Sticker Star, the battle system. I mean, it's pretty obvious, which definitely disappoints me. But kind of like Sticker Star, I guess, everything outside of the battle elements, I'm actually kind of excited for. Like, I was a big fan of color by numbers books as a kid, and this seems to kind of have elements of that, where you're filling in, parts of the world that have been, the color has been stolen from those parts of the world. So you're essentially recoloring the world, and that part is cool to me, because I like the kind of sense of satisfaction that comes from visually restoring the world. It's kind of the same thing that happened in Okami when you would restore like a colorless part of the land,
right,
and all the color would come back. So I love that sense of satisfaction. I think it looks great visually. I mean, I'm really excited to see kind of this whole world that we're exploring, because it looks really nice. And I do like just the fact that there's that Rogueport element of the idea that we're not in the Mushroom Kingdom, we're exploring a whole new land. So that part, all that stuff, I think is great. But then there's that battle system, which definitely reminds me of Sticker Star, and it is not at all a traditional RPG-like battle system in the vein of Thousand Year Door or the original, which is, obviously very disappointing.
Yeah. So, my thoughts on this game are complex. Because, on the one hand, I absolutely detested Sticker Star. It's one of perhaps the only game, I think, I gave 2 stars out of 5 at the time. We no longer use stars, of course. In hindsight, I think overrated it. I really hate that game.
Well, can I ask this question?
Yeah.
And this is slightly off topic, but I think it's on topic. Which game is better, Andre Seegers? Super Mario Sunshine or Sticker Star?
Oh my god. I know how much you love Sunshine, so you'll probably side with me on this. I think Sunshine's a better game.
Well, of course.
I was going to say, there's only one correct answer to this question.
I got you.
I hate that you put me in this position to defend Sunshine. So I want to address something you said, Ashley. You liked everything outside the battle system of Sticker Star. I didn't. I hated the battle system in Sticker Star, but I'll get more to that in a sec. I also disliked almost everything outside it. I like the look of the game, I like the music, the presentation itself was decent. But when I think of Paper Mario, I like the engaging chapters, the characters, like the unique toads, all the unique stories that come across. They're all part of, they're all a small component of this larger narrative as well. Sticker Star had none of that. It was pretty much a linearly driven experience where you go through these uninspired, to me, stages. That had almost nothing in common with the old Paper Mario games, besides the art style. Now, with that said, as you mentioned, Josh, if you can get past that, that is something that will help, because it really isn't a core Paper Mario game. However, even ignoring all that, I detested the combat and the puzzles so much of that game, I couldn't even enjoy it on its own merits. So that is why when I saw Color Splash. Like, when I first saw it, I'm like, yes, Paper Mario! Then it kept playing, I'm like, oh god, oh no. And then when I started doing the analysis, I'm like, man, this battle system really is just Sticker Stars. And the problem with Sticker Stars' battle system is, to me, it felt pointless. Because you would use stickers that you found in the environment on enemies, which would give you stickers. So because you're using stickers to get stickers, it made the whole thing pointless, and you would just want to save them up for the boss fight, which would require certain stickers that you may have used on an earlier enemy. So, because the battles were pointless, I just skipped them, and the rest of the game I didn't find to be fun. So that's why when I saw the combat in this game, like, oh no, this looks so similar. But then something weird happened. I was immersed in this analysis for well over 30 hours. Like, I had several days that were just all Color Splash. And after, trying to dig through everything in that battle system, I'm a little more optimistic now. It's weird. But even though at its core, it still looks to be very similar to Sticker Star, with the cards being the sticker stand-in, there's enough changes here that I'm wondering if they can improve on what Sticker Star tried to do, and do Sticker Star right, this could be a fun game on its own merits. Because I am really intrigued by what they might be doing with the cards. Now granted, a lot of what I had in the analysis was conjecture, so I apologize to anyone if I got your hopes up and the game ends up garbage in the end. But, what I'm hoping is that with the cards, I'm really hoping that they are going with, some kind of, deck-based mechanic. Where you can, because on the gamepad we saw you only had 10 cards at a time. So I'm wondering if you might only have, those 10 cards which are dealt to you from a deck you maybe built using the rest of the cards you had. Whereas a Sticker Star, you had access to all the stickers. And on top of that, we saw that when you use this card, instead of the card going away like stickers did, the paint just drains from them, so you have to paint them to use them. So that alone actually has me a little bit more optimistic about how the battle system could work. And it's making me wonder, if they tweak some of the terrible things about Sticker Star, it might be a decent game. It's not the Paper Mario game I wanted, but it might be a good game by itself.
Yeah, my issue is that, the deck mechanic, if that's what it ends up being, sounds cool, but my problem with Sticker Star's battles was not so much the stickers themselves, so much that they felt pointless because you didn't get experience from battles. You never got stronger from battle, so there literally was zero reason to ever fight a battle unless you just felt like it. And that's what I wanted to see return in Color Splash. Just, even if it wasn't going to be another Thousand Year Door, just the return of a few more basic RPG elements, like experience points, levels, things like that. And it doesn't seem like that's going to come back in Color Splash, which is what my main issue is, because if you're playing an RPG, if battles don't reward you in any way at all, what's the point? Why fight?
So, I mean, that's true, and the idea behind Sticker Star was that the reward to be stickers, but as I mentioned, that didn't quite work out because you're
because and you also got you typically could either buy or find better stickers in the environment than you could
in battles.
Yeah,
right,
so like there really was no point.
Well, there were stickers that you could only get from certain enemies. I think like the Fire Bros and the Hammer Bros, you could get stickers from them that you could not get anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's pretty clear that that's the approach that they're taking with Color Splash as well, which, again, is not what I would want, and that may kind of really hamper my enjoyment of the game, but I don't know.
I'm not convinced it is, though, because you're right. If that is ultimately how it plays out, if it really is just like, if this really is just Sticker Star 2, I'm going to be disappointed, because you do, like with an RPG, having that, having some kind of reward for battles is pretty essential. But I'm wondering now, even though there doesn't appear to be any XP in this game, as I pointed out in the analysis, it did look like that maybe you'll be rewarded paint for defeating these enemies, because like we saw paint down from the enemies. Again, I could be off base there. We don't know for sure. It could be a visual effect.
But, like you said, you can get paint in the environment as well. There were paint globs.
Right.
So that might make getting paint from a battle completely worthless, even if that is what you get.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm wondering if it might just be there to get you going, and to make sure you have enough paint to either fill in some of the environment, or at least tackle some enemies.
That could be.
Which would tie into my idea of the enemies giving you paint, which would give you, more paint to work with in which to paint the environment. So it's really the only thing I can think of that makes complete sense given what we know of the battle system, because we already know, or going off the trailer, it looks like when you use a card, it will be drained of its paint. Making paint the main limiting factor here, as opposed to the stickers or cards themselves.
Right.
So, yeah.
To be honest with you, I think the card battle system looks less interesting to me than the sticker battle system. Yeah. Well, just from a novelty standpoint.
Well, I guess, I'll give you that. It is less novel because we saw it before. But
yeah.
I think, you could say the same thing about Thousand Year Door, right? That technically was less novel than Paper Mario 64, but it did it really well. So I'm wondering if, even though it may not be novel this time, if they do what Sticker Star tried to do, but really well, or better at least, maybe it'll be better?
Well, I mean, just from and when playing Sticker Star, I always thought it was cute how the bottom touchscreen was like my little virtual sticker book, and I could see the little stickers, and you peel them off, and if you rotate the system around, they even glisten, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
With the cards just look way less visually interesting to me. And why do you have to touch them? Why do you have to touch and hold, then flick? Why can't I just flick them? That would be way more rewarding. Just flick the cards out, rapid fire.
Well, because I think you need to paint the card first before.
So why not rub my finger around the card to make it feel like I'm painting?
That's true. That's a good point. I will agree. Like the gamepad interface looks a little bit boring.
Yeah, that's mainly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like even the cards, it's like a pure white card, and then just like the little typical fighting symbol that we've seen many times before. They need to do something about the cards visually, I think.
You have to paint them first to make them interesting.
So well, yeah, you should scrub your finger against them and then flick them. Imagine that, like, whoosh.
But awesome. Do you think people will get tired of that, though, in a 30-hour game?
I think people are going to get tired of having to sit and click on them for a split second before they load.
Yeah.
So might as well make it interesting.
Well. Yeah.
Well, we did see that you might be able to paint cards. It looked like some cards in your hand were already painted, so maybe you can paint them outside of battle, and you won't have to paint everyone. So maybe you can just basically flick them out. I'm just trying to look at the bright side here, because, if it really is just more Sticker Star, I will be extremely disappointed.
I think that's what it is.
If that's all it is. I mean, it obviously is very close in vain. But I think if they improve on some of the mechanics, it could work better. But I'm surprised, Josh, to see that you really have, it sounds like you have almost no interest in this game, despite liking Sticker Star.
No, what? No, I'm really excited. I think I'm one of the people that's more excited for this game. I just think, there's some things about this that I kind of don't love. I don't know if we're ready to get into this, but I don't think there's partners in this game. And that's a huge part of Paper Mario.
A huge partner.
Stop it, Andre!
I knew he was going to say that as soon as he said a huge part.
You've been hanging out with him too long.
Yeah.
But partners were great because they were, I guess the reason there's no partners is because Miyamoto doesn't want a story in this game. So partners were a big part of the story because they always related to the chapter that you were in. You were kind of introduced to them, you learned their backstory, and they progressed the story, but also gave you a bunch of gameplay. And maybe that's why there's not partners. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Well,
but if this game doesn't have partners, man, that's a huge, huge bummer.
I think the death knell for partners is the fact we saw that that bucket character, which looks
Yeah,
really
Kirsty.
Yeah,
Kirsty number 2.
Exactly. She really does
Yeah.
seem, or he really does seem to be the Kirsty stand-in this game.
Yeah.
Which is really a shame because I totally agree. Partners are like the heart and soul of the Paper Mario games. I just want Goombaria to come back in any game, even if it's not going to be a Paper Mario game, just any game, because she was awesome. And yeah, I don't think they're going to be partners. I think it might be too early to say if that's because this game is suffering from the Miyamoto effect. Like for all we know, we don't know that he's involved that much in this game, like he was a Sticker Star. So and I say that because this takes place on Prism Island, which for all we know is not the Mushroom Kingdom. So it does seem like we are dealing with original elements again this time around, and maybe a more original story than what we got in Sticker Star. So he might not actually have his iron grip on this game. I hate to talk about Miyamoto like that. It feels so wrong, but
I'm okay with it. You want me to go on?
no,
He's ruining Paper Mario. He ruined Star Fox. He ruined 3D Mario.
Damn. Wow. I mean, you're not wrong. It is strange to talk about Miyamoto like that, but I do agree that maybe he needs to step aside and let the young blood kind of take over some of these series. But just by virtue of the fact that we're not in the Mushroom Kingdom this time around, maybe he's loosened up, or maybe he's not really having too much to do with Color Splash.
Well, I will say that there is a lot of stuff from Sticker Star that's still around. Like, for example, the fact that there are no original enemies. Like, a Toad is just a Toad. They're not in costumes. They don't have personality. But somebody made a really great graphic. I think it was on NeoGAF.
I saw it.
They show all these great Toad designs from the original Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and they're all wearing costumes. They have personality. They're different shapes and sizes. And then there's and here's the characters in Sticker Star and Color Splash, and it's just all Toads. Just basic Toads.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad because it's so true. I really don't understand how anybody could possibly think that characters that have no personality are better, because they're absolutely not.
I do love the Toads because they're mainstays, and the Toads should not go anywhere, but they definitely need to be complemented by partners and more interesting characters. I mean, this was even a problem, and I haven't finished it yet, but in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, where really the main element we got in that game out of Paper Mario was the Toads. I mean, there's Paper Mario himself, and then there's the Toads, and then what?
Yeah.
And Paper Bowser and Paper Peach.
In past Paper Mario games, there were Toads, but they had, jobs. Like, here's a construction worker Toad or whatever. I remember in the Thousand Year Door, there's a chapter where you're in, an underground mine, and there's a bunch of Toads that are stuck under there. And they kind of have that same little gimmick where they're traveling in this big pack of Toads, and isn't that silly and fun? But they were they had a story, and they had costumes on, and so it worked. But when you just take all that away, and it's just here's a bunch of Toads stuck in a closet, and you opened it, and they all came out, it's oh, okay.
And they all look identical. And,
there's no differentiation between them.
The weird thing is, Toads aren't that complex of a character. It seems like one of the things you could easily make an editor for, where you just slap on. You have a few different mustaches, a few different hairstyles, mix and match them. You can have a ton of different Toads.
They're the Miis of the Mario universe.
Yeah.
They are, yeah. So I was disappointed when I saw that the Toads do seem to be the same generic Toads as before.
They even do the same joke as in Sticker Star, where they all come flowing out of a cabinet or a house or whatever. So they even did the same joke, and the fan was the same as Sticker Star.
God, I know.
Right? That's the thing. Is that I guess are they going to be called thing cards now instead of thing stickers? That is the main thing I think that really kind of raises my red flags. That is such a direct callback to Sticker Star. It almost feels like they couldn't really think of anything original for this game, so they just said, hey, you know what? For some reason, we're not going to go back and give people the RPG they really want. We're going to keep using Paper Mario as this excuse to experiment with these weird different gameplay formats, but we can't think of one, so let's just go with Sticker Star's, or some of Sticker Star's, ideas, like thing stickers. It's really weird.
I think it might also be that developing something like the Thousand Year Door is going to take a lot more time and a lot more energy than just saying, well, Wii U is almost dead. What are some things we can get out before we move on?
That's also a good point, yeah.
What if we made a Sticker Star 2 because people want a new Paper Mario? And I think that's what we're looking at here. Something that they could do much faster, didn't involve all the story and character development. And, but that's kind of a bummer, if that's true.
Does it seem a little bit tone deaf, though? I'm not even speaking as to whether this game is good or not. Maybe it will be.
It could be. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this game, by the way, for the record.
Yeah, I think I will, too.
And there's actually a few more things I want to talk about that do look pretty cool in the game. But even ignoring that, even if the game is great on its own merits, when people say they want a new Paper Mario, they usually don't mean I want another Sticker Star or Super Paper Mario. They mean I want one like the first two.
Right.
So it's so weird that Nintendo's continuing down this avenue. like, I mean, at this point, like, I'm almost done ever expecting another Thousand Year Door style Paper Mario again. Like, I don't think
I am too.
Don't give up.
Yeah,
hope.
I don't think Nintendo even cares to ever revisit that idea.
I
No,
think
you know-
yeah.
I think they might think this might be their logic. Hey, the Thousand Year Door didn't sell as well as Sticker Star or Super Paper Mario, so that must mean that it's not the right direction to take the series. But of course, that's not really true because the GameCube obviously did not sell as well as the Wii or the 3DS, so your audience is automatically way smaller. So I really hope that's not what they're thinking, because that would be totally incorrect.
Yeah, it does almost seem like Mario and Luigi has almost completely supplanted Paper Mario as Nintendo's kind of RPG, like Mario RPG series, which is, I love the Mario and Luigi games, but it's really a shame because Paper Mario always offers something a little different and a little offbeat in its own way, and the more we talk about it, the more frustrating it gets because the Thousand Year Door was such a winning combination. It was it was nearly a perfect game, honestly, and to see them completely ignore that and just not even try to do that again it's really a shame.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's look at some of the perhaps better points in this game, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on the whole coloring aspect, or the whole painting aspect, where you go around with your paint hammer, you can paint in blank spots of the ground or of the environment, which seem to be all over the place. I think that looks potentially interesting, although I wonder how much depth there's going to be to it, but it looks like you can just hammer a spot and automatically fill in the color if you have the paint. So I wonder if there's, like, I wonder if there's going to be an incentive for not painting in everything you see. Like, we already know it uses your paint. So, are you going to think about, like, what areas you paint in, maybe? You have to consider what color it's going to be so you don't run out of that color. Like, I'm trying to figure out how they're going to balance that and make that interesting.
Maybe, going back to what we were talking about earlier about paint being the reward for battles, maybe the only way to completely paint in an environment is to fight all the enemies, so you have enough paint to paint in everything, and that, I guess that would probably carry with it certain bonuses.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I mean, and I think that would go a long way to making the battles more rewarding inherently.
Right.
Just because you are getting something of value from them. And we saw that the game does track how much paint you paint, or how much you painted in an area of. So it looks like it is going to be important to fill in these areas as much as possible. Which actually reminds me a little bit of Sunshine, Josh, and how you had to clean up those areas, right? So,
It's the opposite of Sunshine.
yeah, it is.
Well, it's a lot like De Blob as well.
Oh, I never played that one. Is it?
Yeah, De Blob is about kind of jumping around on things to color them.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, similar to that. I think people have drawn that comparison. Maybe slightly Splatoonish. A lot of paint. Paint seems to be a popular thing to do in games.
Paint, ink, any kind
Yeah.
of liquid, Nintendo's all over. It seems like.
Well, let's hope not any kind of liquid. That would be a little weird.
Now
I do
that's a
love-
game I would buy. Let's
did-
do Paper Mario with that.
I forget. I think there was some enemy in the trailer or someone that Mario hammers. Like maybe it was a Toad. I can't remember. Like all those red ink sprays out. I'm like, oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, how about the Shy Guy using a straw to suck the ink out of Toad?
Right? Like
That was just-
Oh, yeah.
And Mario's just watching it for some reason. I noticed that.
right.
He's
And
like,
it's
well,
not like
I'll
going
stop
by
you
fast.
after you're done.
Yeah, it's like going really slow, and Mario's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you after you do this."
Yeah.
So that takes me to another point. Though, what do you think about the whole? I think the game itself looks beautiful. I think this game looks fantastic. Like, it is exactly what I'd want visually from a Paper Mario on Wii U. So like they're like in one aspect they totally nailed it, in the other I'm not quite sure yet. So
I think it looks great. Like, and I said that earlier. I think it really looks nice. Paper Mario's design itself seems to be a little different than what we've come to expect. It's hard to say exactly how, but he just looks a little different.
He's
His
got a
skin
white
tones-
outline.
Yeah, white outline. His skin tone seems a bit different. I think his eyes are maybe a little smaller. He just looks a little different, which is fine. Not in a bad way. It's just interesting to note. But yeah, I think it looks great. And as I said, Andre, earlier, I love the idea of filling in the world with color. I've always loved games like that. Again, like Okami, where you're visually restoring the world to its rightful look, and that you just get such a visceral sense of satisfaction out of that. That part I think I'm going to love, for sure.
right.
Yeah, I think hammering things, like just watching the footage, I feel like it's going to be very like satisfying and addictive to do, to just like hammer the spots on the ground or the bush to color it and stuff. I think that'll be pretty rewarding. I almost wonder, like, is this going to be something that's fun for the whole game? Are they going to keep introducing new things, or would this be something that could have just been like a gimmick in a chapter? Like you go to this area that's all colorless, and you have to use something to color it in.
Yeah, but looking at the actual gameplay outside battle, it doesn't look like there's a lot of depth necessarily to hammer you painting the environment. Like you just walk up, you hit your hammer with it, and it looks like it just paints it in automatically. So I do wonder if there's going to be a little bit more depth to it. Like, can you maybe choose colors to fill in things with? It doesn't look like it, but you know, we didn't see too much of how that works in the trailer, so...
For some reason in the trailer, there's a very short scene where Paper Mario seems to just be randomly hitting the ground with the hammer, and it's making a whole bunch of color splashes.
It is, yeah.
I wonder if that wastes your paint.
Yeah.
I would think, I would think so.
I guess that means that it's kind of random what color you would use, too. Like, color doesn't seem like you switch to blue or red or anything. It just gives you what you need.
Yeah, that's what I said in the analysis, too, which does suggest a lack of depth, perhaps, to that mechanic, but...
Yeah, I mean, it may be kind of a kind of thing where it only depletes your paint if you use it in its intended space. Kind of like a special move in Final Fight or Streets of Rage, where if you don't hit anyone, your health doesn't deplete, but if you do, then your health depletes. So it might be that kind of thing where you're only, you know, your paint only depletes if you actually strike where you need to fill in the space with a hammer.
Right.
And that you're not penalized for random hits of your hammer.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably the case.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered most of the main aspects of this game. Do you guys have any final thoughts at all about anything related to this game, whether it's the card battle system, any other things you would want to see from this game, or hopes about the game before we wrap it up here?
I hope it's not Sticker Star 2. But I think it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, like I said though, I'm not completely negative in the game. I think I'll have a good time with it once it's actually out. I think I'll have a good time with it. I doubt it's going to end up being anywhere near my favorite Paper Mario, but I think I'm going to have a good time with it. I'm just hoping that there are experience points at least, but I don't think there will be.
Yeah, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely positive about it. Like I said, I'm one of the few people who did enjoy Sticker Star. I don't know that Sticker Star would work well on a home console, because I really thought Sticker Star worked on a handheld the way that they built it. So if you just take that and put it on the Wii U, I don't think it's going to work as much. I'm kind of offended by the overworld map. I think that's pretty lame.
Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that takes a lot of the atmosphere out of Paper Mario. It works on a handheld because it has to be very pick up and play, but on a home console, you're going to like get nice and comfy on your couch and play for hours probably. So not so keen on that.
Yeah, because what was cool about the original games was how it felt like a connected world, like it felt like an actual place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't need to make an overworld map because it's on a home console, so it doesn't really need to be there.
It does kind of speak to like the new Super Mario Brothers-ification of some of Nintendo series, right?
It's true. Very they're feeling a little more streamlined.
I hate when games are streamlined. I really hate that. So I'm not a huge fan of that. Andre, based on your analysis, it does seem like some of the other worlds might be more unique than the grassland, snow world, lava world, jungle.
That's a great point. And I wish it had shown those off, because those looked a lot more interesting. But yeah, Sticker Star was, pretty conventional in its level themes. This one actually looks like it has a lot more going on here. Like we saw what looked like some ruins. We saw
Western. Looked like there was a Western world in a way.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, exactly.
Like with a train and stuff.
I want to know what that train's about, right? Because Thousand Year Door had that awesome train chapter.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my god, that's an amazing.
Yeah,
chapter.
That was an awesome chapter.
Fantastic. Yeah. So because you know what, I will say this. Man, this is gonna cause me physical pain to say this. Sticker Star did have a few hints of some of that classic Mario Paper goodness for me. Such as that one, the one level with the haunted house, I think. Do you remember that one? The toad who's scared of what's going on in the house.
Oh, I kind of do, yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it too. I put most of it out of my mind. But if they can touch on that a little bit more with these levels, and by hopefully a little bit more, I mean a lot bit more, that would be fantastic. Like if each of these levels maybe is a smaller, more conventional Paper Mario chapter to some degree, I could dig that. I could buy that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, there's like 3 or 4 things that I really want this game to have. I want partners. I'm not holding out hope for that. I want more original levels. That's something that really kind of pained me. I mean, Paper Mario has always been known for like crazy original levels we would not see in any other Mario game, and I think it needs that back. Sticker Star didn't really have that. So, crazier levels, the partners, and I think, polishing up that battle system to make it feel a little bit more rewarding would definitely be a must. But other than that, I think that's really what I want. I want the better level design, the more uniqueness, and some more character to the game. And if it has that, I'll be really happy.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think that the town we've seen looks at least far more interesting than the town from Sticker Star. So it's a promising or a more encouraging start. So yeah, I mean, I agree with all of you guys, or both of you. I think every point you made is what I want to see here. So, you know, everyone knows I didn't like Sticker Star. I was disappointed by this reveal.
Nobody knows that.
When were you going to share that with us?
I know, right? I was keeping on the down low there. But again, I do want to stress that I was more encouraged, which doesn't happen very often, by working on my analysis for this game, seeing some of the differences from Sticker Star, and hoping that they may be building up to something more. So basically, if this is Sticker Star done right, I might be able to get behind it. It's not the game I wanted, but it could be a game that's fun in its own right.
That's actually true, though. Typically, once you've decided you won't like something, you don't usually change your mind.
Are you talking about people in general,
That's
or
true.
me?
No, sorry, no, Andre, you. Like, you were just saying, like, you actually felt better about it after doing your analysis, which, in my experience, is not... That doesn't usually happen. Usually, once you are fairly sure you're not going to like something, you're usually kind of set in that. You don't usually change your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll
saying.
quite put it that way. Usually, the analysis doesn't reveal much more to me that that would change my opinion. Whereas in this case, some of the potential changes here do look a little bit more promising. So I'm really hoping they follow through. You know, maybe we have. You know, Nintendo has had this trend where they'll have like a relatively terrible reveal for a game. Then they'll blow it out of the water with the next trailer or whatever. That makes the game look way better. Like, I almost wonder if that's intentional at this point. Like, do you remember the 3D World unveil and how it looked just okay? Yeah. And then they showed the next trailer looked amazing comparatively.
Well.
Maybe they're doing it here, and like maybe that is an intentional thing. Like, they get the disappointing news out of the way because maybe they knew no matter what they showed, people would be like, "Well, just Sticker Star 2." But now that we have rock bottom expectations, now they can build upon that.
That's true, though. I mean, there is that Super Mario 3D World thing where I could not have been less interested or enthused about that game upon that first trailer. Then that E3 trailer, though, following, I was suddenly very excited along with a lot of other people. So hopefully that happens here. You know, I think the next time we hear about Color Splash is definitely going to be E3. I doubt we'll hear more about it before that.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you guys. So this was a direct that was supposed to be all about games that are coming out in the spring and summer. This game looked way early on. They didn't even show us anything beyond, like, literally the opening of the game, everything was. Like, we even saw the ship arriving to Prism Island. We saw them, like, you know, first walking into it. And then, like, nothing takes place after that first little initial area. So, given how early on it looked, do you really think this is going to be coming out in the summertime?
If not summer, I would say, early fall, probably. But I do think they need to beat the, I don't think they want competing with the NX. So I think we'll definitely see it, maybe like September, October-ish. With that said...
Summer in Japan, then
yeah,
the rest of the world.
That's certainly possible. Fall. With that said, I have a feeling the game's actually a lot closer to completion than how
they showed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
hopefully.
Everything else looked, like, even though we didn't see much, everything of what we saw looked to me fairly complete. And I think it really just followed the 3D World or the other reveals where, what we see is representative of what we get. But there is more to it that we just haven't seen yet. So I do have a feeling that it is probably closer to completion than we thought. Especially because there were rumors of this game, I think over a year ago now, with that Intelligent System employee who let slip at a job fair that they were working on Paper Mario for the Wii U. So it's definitely been in development for a while now.
That's true. Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point because I agree with you, Josh. To me, I got this sense that it was still very early, but that may be a reason to believe that it isn't very early. But I do think that if it is actually coming out in spring or summer, it's got to be late summer, like late summer. Yeah. I don't see this coming before like August or September.
I can see late July in Japan. There's usually a big release in July, like later July for Japan.
In Japan, yeah, I can see that maybe happening. But I don't think we'll see it in the West until maybe late August or September.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, it is late summer. It's only a few months from now, which is kind of crazy. So.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that wraps up for us here, guys. So thanks for watching. Josh, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you at?
They can find me at the BitBlock anywhere on the internet.
Nice. I heard you're working on your next Make Believe, right?
I am well underway on Make Believe Episode 2. It's all about making Mario Party good again. Hashtag Make Mario Party good again.
It shouldn't be hashtag Make Mario Party great again?
Make Mario Party great again. There you go. Yes, I'm sorry. Well, awesome. No, I'm going to set the expectations low. Good. Good again. Not great.
You know what? At this point, I'll take good for that series. So.
That would be nice.
All right. And, of course, keep an eye on Game Explain for lots more on Paper Mario Color Splash. Got it.
Oh,
and
you almost messed it up.
As well. Almost did. Got it close. Almost did Color Smash. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.